All right, hey everybody, welcome back to another episode. Today on the podcast, I want to talk about elevating sales performance. And I really want to gear this towards those of you that are high level coaches and consultants. You may or may not have a sales team or a seller. And I want to talk about how we're going to elevate your sales performance by mastering the mindset, the strategy, and the systems that are anchored around the 4 pillars of scalable sales that we teach across our programs. So I want to talk about scaling your sales success with these advanced strategies. If you're really, ready to elevate your own performance, or maybe you're looking to empower your team to consistently close 6 and 7 figure deals, then this episode is going to be packed with actionable insights for you. You're definitely going to want to tune in, maybe grab something to take some notes. And here's the deal: rather you're closing deals yourself, or you're leading a team or want to lead a team, these strategies are going to transform how you sell and scale in 2025. One of my clients recently came to me feeling really stuck at the 15K month mark. They just felt like they were constantly chasing leads. They felt like they were stuck in the weeds of everything. And we implemented the 4 pillars of scalable sales, which I'm going to talk about today. And she was finally able to break through to consistent 40K months while she was actually working less. So not only did we get her out of the weeds of everything, but we were also able to get her from 15K months, which felt kind of hard and heavy. And we got her up to those 40K months working less that felt really aligned, really good, really sustainable and attainable. So today I'm going to walk you through the 4 key elements of scalable sales success and how high-level coaches, consultants, and their sales teams can use these advanced strategies to create consistent 6 and 7 figure growth. So hopefully that excites you. Hopefully you're grabbing something to take some notes, perking up the ears a little bit. You could plug your sellers or your sales team into this episode if you have those. So part 1 is going to be about pillar 1. Pillar 1 is really growing a high quality audience every day. One of the things that we see inside sales teams or when we're working with coaches, the number one gap that we see is they just don't have a high quality audience. We see a couple things. Sometimes they have an audience and it's not really that bad, but it's just not enough people. Like they're not growing it consistently. They're capping out. They're exhausting their current audience. They're maxing out. And they just cannot squeeze any more sales out of the audience they currently have. That's one bucket that we see people, or one camp that our clients are in when they come to us. The other camp is they're just not growing the audience with the right people. So they don't have quite high quality leads. And no matter how much they create content, no matter how much they sell, no matter how much they go live or do launches, and no matter how much value they're given or how hard they work every day or how much they show up, their sales do not match, the effort that they're putting into the business. And it usually is the gap of a high quality audience. They just don't have it. So that's typically the 2 camps that most people are in. And we see the same thing with sales teams, right? Sellers who are the frontliners of a company, they just don't, they either don't have the quality leads or they don't have enough of them. And that really just comes down to the structure of the business owner. How is the CEO and the business owner organizing leads for their sales teams or their sellers, and how are they empowering their sales teams to get after it and go get leads, right? And be creative. So this is the first pillar, right? Is really growing that high quality audience every day, not just when you're launching, not only when you need sales, and not only when you just feel inspired to do so, but every day, Monday through Friday. So it's important because high performance sales starts with a pipeline of qualified leads, right? I always tell my clients, we have 2 types of people in every single audience. You have interested and invested. Interested people and invested people, not the same people. And a lot of people in your audience are just going to be interested, which means they might engage, they might register, sign up for things, they might show up for everything you do. They might look like your highest level leads, your potential buyers, your next set of buyers, and yet you're so confused because they never buy. Those are interested people. They're not quite invested yet. And then you have your invested people, which they don't need a lot from you, but they need the right stuff from you, and they need to be nurtured and qualified properly in order to get them over the finish line. So every person has those two people in their audience. Okay. So your audience really needs to reflect the clients that you're trying to attract, which is high level buyers who are ready to invest, right? So your price points, your offer, your solution, and your positioning, pricing, packaging, and positioning all has to speak to that high level buyer. It needs to all come together and align. Part of making this happen is just going to be you and or your sellers or sales teams engaging with your ideal audience consistently through strategic and personalized outreach, and content, so that you are qualifying people in or qualifying people out, and you're building a buyer's list that has your cold leads and your hot leads, right? So your cold that need to be nurtured and your hot that are ready to convert. These are your buyers, right? That's what we need to do and segment that out. A coach that I had worked with recently was shifted from attracting low budget buyers to high ticket clients by focusing on targeted audience growth strategies, right? She just switched her focus to really focus on speaking to and attracting and creating content and having conversations with higher level buyers instead of focusing on ground level clients, right? Ground level leads, people just at the start of their journey and needing so much, right? So that's just a quick little strategy. Okay, part number 2 is going to be the second pillar, right? I just want you to assess as I go through these. I want you to kind of think about your strategies. I want you to think about your gaps. I want you to think about what parts of this do you have dialed in and what parts do you not have, and what parts do you maybe have, but they need to improve, right? With you and or your sales teams. So pillar number 2 is about building and qualifying a buyer's list, right? If you've been on my podcast for even 5 minutes, you already know I talk heavily about a buyer's list. I think it is non-negotiable in this market. I think it is absolutely essential to consistent sales. Whether you're doing sales yourself or with a team, it's not even an option to not have a buyer's list this year if you want to have effective, consistent, sales that feel easier and lighter. Okay. So we got to build a buyer's list of qualified leads. And the reason this is so important is majority of the people in your audience, they're not ready to buy and they're not going to buy right now. And qualifying them is going to save you time and ensure that you or your sales team are getting on the phone and in conversations with decision makers, with the people who can say yes or no, yay or nay, I'm in or I'm out, right? And they can make a financial decision and investment. We have to be talking to the right people. We also need to make sure these people are qualified, that they are ready, that they're going to win inside your programs, right? Because winning in your program and doing all this work on the front end helps your back end. And your back end is retention, client success, client ascension, right? It's the difference in you keeping a client for a short period of time or for years, right? Like long term. So using tools, like having applications, having polls, having entry questions or member questions if you have a group, making sure that you have somebody who is doing whether it's you or someone on the team that is qualifying leads, using what we use in Sales Academy is our 5-star framework. It's 5 simple questions. And we take every lead through those questions in order. And it literally is backed by human behavior and brain science techniques and language, which really helps the people that we're talking to convert themselves and get themselves to a buy-in decision. So we're not playing that convince and negotiating game. It helps really speed up the qualification process. So it's really important that you have these things in place. And you want to focus your time on the buyers that meet those specific criterias, the readiness, the budget, alignment of your offer. They're ready to show up for themselves, bet on themselves, do the work, right? This is non-negotiable in this market. And if we're not really creating this criteria and then backing into that criteria with proper questions and qualification systems, then, sales are going to be slow and low. right? They're just going to take forever to get people over the conversion line, get them over the finish line. It's going to take so long to qualify someone in or out. And you or your sales team are going to be sitting in conversations every day, all day with unqualified leads. Okay. Which also means you're just going to get a ton of objections. So doing this alone is going to eliminate about 90% of objections that you and or your sales team are receiving. Okay. Okay. So an example question that you could ask when you're talking to leads is like, and this is one example, we have hundreds of examples for different niches and all of that. But you could say like, what is the number one thing you're struggling with right now? And why do you feel like it's holding you back from X goal, right? So just a simple question can really allow the other person to feed you data that's going to tell you and mark those criterias and tell you if someone is qualified or not. One question alone is not going to do that. It's not going to make or break this process, but it's going to help you lead into the next questions that you should be asking. Okay. Now, just a quick side note, Sales Academy is our number one lead-in sales training and mentorship program. It's for established coaches and consultants that are serious about elevating their performance and scaling their businesses. If that is you, we are currently accepting applications right now for our 2025 round of students. There is a link in the podcast description below. If you want to go over, you can apply to qualify today, and we can review your application and see if working together, if we could partner together to transform your sales results. Okay, pillar number 3 is all about mastering effective communication of your top of mind solution. This is really critical because in this market, people do not want more information and they're not going to buy more information. No one is pulling out their credit card to learn more stuff. We are inundated with content. We are overwhelmed with the amount of content, and people really just want results. That's what we want today. And so it's going to be really important that you and or your sales team, whoever's on the front line closing sales and qualifying and having these sales conversations, we really need to clearly present and communicate the solution that is the bridge to the gap or the problem or the goal that your potential buyer wants. And so when we see someone come to us and they have a problem or they have a goal, we want to put either the path to reach that goal or the solution to solve that problem in front of them. And it needs to be clear, it needs to be concise, it needs to be to the point, and it really needs to be personalized for the person you're speaking to. You know, it's just not 2020 anymore, right? It's not 2020 anymore where we can just mass pitch people to death. People are not pulling their credit cards out with that. This is why launch conversions are down. This is why content is engagement is down. This is why we don't see as many people buy in from content or just conversion events anymore. It's because most people are just feeding information to people, and that's not going to create buyers in this market. Okay. So really want you guys to think about a gap analysis where you're really looking to uncover your prospect's real pain point, their real problem, their top of mind problem, and then you align your offer to be the top of mind solution. Like, this is an obvious next step for me. This obviously solves this problem. And here's what we see in the market. The biggest gap we see in the market right now is that coaches, consultants, and sellers do not know what the gap is. They don't know what the top of mind problem is for the people they're talking to. And you cannot present a solution if you don't know what the problem is. What is it that we're solving? We don't even know. And so the reason that sales are down for a lot of companies and coaches right now is because you're putting these blanket offers out there in a mass type of way with language that does not effectively and clearly communicate that this is a solution. The number one way you're going to do that is to talk to your people on a personalized level and identify in their language, in their words, what is the top of mind problem you're having right now? What keeps you up at night? When you lay in that bed at night and you put your head on that pillow, what thoughts are racing through your mind? When you open your eyes in the morning and before you even get out of your bed and off that pillow, what's going through your mind? When you're going through the motions of your day, what's going through your mind? If we can't, in their words, identify what that is, you can't possibly provide a top of mind solution that's going to have them running for their credit card, not thinking about it, not talking to 5 other people about it, not waiting 6 months for it, but running to grab their credit card because this is what they need. It's what they've been looking for, and they're actively seeking this solution. That's the clarity that we need to get. And the reason it's not happening is because people are not talking to their people. They're just mass pitching, mass promoting, mass launching, and we don't have any personalization and real human to human conversations happening. And we got really babied in 2020 through 2022 ish, where we didn't have to do those things to sell, but we do today. And we have had to for the last year and a half. And that isn't changing in 2025. So we got to get everybody, including sales teams, on board with this, right? So that's really going to be what it's about. Okay, pillar number 4. Let's talk about pillar number 4 now. Pillar number 4 is about consistently convert and champion clients. Okay. The truth of the matter is conversions are the lifeblood of scaling, right? They are the heartbeat. But consistency comes from systems. Consistency does not come from luck. It doesn't come from who checks the most boxes every day. It doesn't come from who works the hardest. It doesn't come from who's missing dinner with their family, who's stressing out, who's desperate, who's convincing and negotiating and lowering their prices. It doesn't come from that. It doesn't come from luck. Consistency is going to come from clarity, and clarity is going to come from having a set of systems. We need systems in place so that we can eliminate thinking time. So in 2024, one of the pieces of data that I was really interested in collecting was learning how much time frontliners, so sellers, CEOs who are selling, coaches who are selling, consultants who are doing the selling, or sales teams, people that are selling, how much time do those people spend thinking about things, thinking about what should I do, what should I say, where should I say it, how much should I charge, what should the offer be, should I do it here, should I do it there, how much time? And the data really showed us that about 20 to 25 hours a week, so a part-time job, 20 to 25 hours a week is what most coaches, consultants, and sellers spend their time just thinking, not taking action, not doing anything, just sitting and thinking. It's about 20 to 25 hours a week. That's a part-time job. So what we need to do, and what that tells me, it tells me that we have a lack of systems. It tells me that we don't have a repeatable system in place where we can move leads every day from cold to client. That's one of the systems inside of Sales Academy. Is we help you. It's a set of actions that you take every single lead through to get them and move them through cold to client in a high integrity, high ethical way, backed by human behavior and science. And we move them through every lead through that process. It eliminates 100% of thinking time because the system says, do this, great. When you're done that, do this, and then do that. And then you do this, and then you say this, and then you do this, and you say that. It is a system. And if you're the one selling or you have a sales team, you're not going to survive in 2025 without a system like that, without a proper system in place for closing sales consistently. You're going to run ragged. You're going to burn out. You're going to be ripping your hair out, dying at your desk, launching to death, being super launch dependent. You're going to be dependent on social media platforms and being plugged in and turned on all day, every day. And you're going to be paying out all this money to sellers or sales teams who are wildly underperforming. And it's not because they don't have, they're not capable. It's they don't have the proper systems and skills and the proper training to be high performers, right? So we need to create systems. Okay, that is how you're going to create repeatable sales, close deals consistently. You need a framework to follow. And it doesn't matter if you're doing this yourself or you have a sales team, we need to have this. And we need to have follow-up built into these systems because 97% of sales don't happen until the 10th follow-up. So write that down. That's a statistic. 97% of sales on average across the board are not happening until around the 8th to 10th follow up. So if you or your sellers are following up once or twice or even 5 times, you're not even getting to 97% of your sales. You're losing 97% of your sales. It's costing you money to not follow up. Okay, so we need to have a system. Okay, so a quick recap of the 4 pillars. Number 1, we need to grow a high quality audience every day. When you stop feeding the top of your funnel, the middle and bottom slow down. You run out of sales. You run out of conversations. You run out of people to talk to. You exhaust your audience. It's a dangerous place to be, and it's never, ever a good problem to have. The best problem you can have is that you have so many conversations that you cannot keep up. Okay? That's a really good problem to have. Number 2, the second pillar, we got to build and qualify a buyer's list. In 2025 and going forward, you really want to go deep with a list of people and not far and wide across platforms, because right now, to get someone's credit card, it's challenging, and you need to build the relationship, deposit reciprocity. You need to nurture, you need to earn every single person's trust, and you need to earn every single sale. And there is no one exempt from having to do this right now. And so we really want to build a buyer's list, because then you can pull that list up Monday through Friday. You can go up and down that list, front to back, side to side, every single day. And you can do these specific steps and actions that are moving each person on that list closer and closer to buy-in, so that it becomes a matter of when and not a matter of if they're going to buy. It is a matter of when are they going to buy. This is critical for sales. Okay. Number 3, the third pillar, is master and effective communication of your solution. Nobody's pulling credit cards out for more information in this economy. We need solutions. We want results, period. And the more that you can get effective at communicating that in 3 seconds or less is going to massively increase your sales. So whoever's selling for you, they got to dial this in and master this process. The 4th pillar is consistently converting champion clients. One of the things that's so funny is people will come to us and they're like, we're just not getting enough sales. And there'll be a lot of this process they don't have in place or dialed in 100%, some of it not at all. But the one thing that we definitely see a lot, and it's very shocking, is they're not even asking for the sales. They're not even selling. Sometimes people will come to us and they're getting people in conversations, and then either them or their sales teams, they freeze up when it's time to ask for that sale. Extend that invitation, put that offer and that solution out there. They freeze up, they fumble, stumble, trip over their own words. It's just a hot mess. And so we really got to get better at doing that. These 4 pillars are not just theories. This is 25 years of my work. I'm not just doing this with my own clients or in my own business as myself, but we are doing this inside 6, 7, and even 8-figure coaching companies for the last 7 years. So this has been my lifelong work, and these pillars have been the foundation to my success inside my own company, as well as consulting other sales teams and other coaching companies. And everything is built off these pillars. Okay. They are the foundation for creating consistent, scalable, sustainable sales that's going to work every time at every single level. Whether you're a coach looking to elevate your own skills, or maybe you're a leader ready to build a high performing sales team, or maybe you even have a sales team and they're underperforming. These pillars are really going to be the roadmap to consistent growth. So if you're ready to elevate your sales game and scale with ease, the Sales Academy is for established coaches and consultants. You may or may not have a sales team. Doesn't make a difference. Your sales teams are welcome into the program as well. But this is for those who are serious about elevating their performance, scaling their businesses, and they're ready to master high integrity, high ethics, human to human sales that create consistent recurrent revenue. Like I said, we are currently taking applications for the next round of our 2025 students, which is really exciting. If that is you, there is a link in the podcast description where you can apply, and we will review your application. We'll connect with you to have a conversation. Easy, simple, no pressure. We want to see if partnering together would be a great relationship, a good partnership, if you would win and get the results in the program. And if that is the case, then we will move from there. If not, we will make sure you have solid next steps to get yourself into a better position to scale your sales this year. And then we can revisit. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Looking forward to seeing your application come through, and I'll see you in the next one.